So welcome everybody to this latest video on 162 Maths, and in this video we'll be going over a quick topic test with a collection of GCSE exam style questions on measures and units at foundation level. Now a copy of the questions for you to have an attempt at before watching through this video is available for you to download by click on the link in the description, which I strongly recommend you do to see how much understanding you have on this topic. Now before we get started working through this test, it's worth noting that there is no indication about whether these questions relate to a calculator or a non-calculator paper. So what we'll do is we'll just make sure that we show our calculations and our full working out, and it may be a case that if this is a non-calculator paper then we may have to do some either long division or some long multiplication. So let's get started on question 1. So question 1 says circle the most sensible measurement for the quantity shown, and so for 1A it says the length of a human finger. Now obviously 3 are going to be massively unrealistic and 1 is going to be realistic, so try not to think about your own personal finger or your own personal garden or your own personal kettle. It's all about which seems more reasonable. So your answer for A should obviously be first option, which is 7 centimeters. For B, the area of a garden, that one is most likely out of the 4 possible options, most likely going to be 50 meters squared. For the amount that of water a kettle will hold, that's more likely to be 2 liters, which is 2000 milliliters. Then moving on to I don't know why there's a random one in there. It says Adam's weight to the nearest kilogram is 65 kilograms. What is the greatest possible value of his weight? Now for this, it's all about upper and lower bounds. So here we've got 65, we've got a plus or minus. Now to the nearest kilogram, that's 1, and you halve that. So basically what we're doing here is we're going to do 65 plus or minus 0.5. So to find the greatest possible value, we're going to add, so it's going to be 65.5, and for the least possible weight, for the minimum value, we take it away, and that's going to be 64.5. Moving on to question 3, it says Tom weighs some flour. It said how much does the flour weigh? So what we need to do is look at this scale and then have a look what it is, and you should find that it's the number between 100 and 200, which is 150. For question 3b, it says 1.2 kilograms of flour are needed for a recipe. Explain how you can use the scale to work out 1.2 kilograms of flour. Now you can see here that the scale only goes up to 300 or 400, you could say. So although it's 0, you could also have 400 if you could see that the dial has gone round 360 degrees. So there's a couple of ways in which you could answer this. So you could, I would say, either go for 400 grams, so measure 400 grams 3 times, or you could measure 300 grams 4 times. You could measure 200 grams 6 times, or you could go for 100 grams 12 times, or you could even write 50 grams 24 times, but either of those should be absolutely fine for you to have as an answer. Let's actually write 50 grams 24 times. Then the next question then says convert 24,000 centimeter cubed into meter cubed. Now one way I teach my students on how to convert units, particularly the volume or area, is to first of all imagine a set of dimensions of a cube or cuboid that gives you the volume that you're looking for. So if I just draw a cuboid, it doesn't need to be accurate at all. So what I'm wanting is 3 numbers that multiply together to give me 24,000. So I could have 24, I could have 10, which is 240, and then multiply that by 1,000. So actually it's going to be 100. So from this, what I could do now, and these are all in centimeters. Now what I can now do is convert each of those into meters. So that's going to be 0.24 meters. 10 centimeters is going to be 0.1 meter, and 100 centimeters is 1 meter. So then to convert it, all I need to do is just multiply together these red numbers. So that will be 0.24 multiplied by 0.1 multiplied by 1, and that gives me the correct answer of 0.024, and that's in meter cubed. Alternately, what you could do is start with 24,000, and what you want to do is you want to, now to convert centimeters into meters, we divide by 100, but because we want volume, we're going to do this 3 times. So if I count the number of zeros, I've got 2, 4, 6. So what I'm going to do is with 24,000, I'm going to move the decimal point 6 places from where it is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I fill in the zeros, so it's going to be there. And you can see how this is the same answer as what I'd have written in blue. So either of those would be absolutely fine. If you're questioning where I've got, why I've got 300s is because we're looking at meter cubed. And again, the reason why we've got 100, to get from centimeters to meters, you divide by 100. So moving on to question 5, it says the speed of a car is shown in kilometers per hour. And here we've got the conversion of 5 miles equals 8 kilometers. And the question is asking us to work out the speed of a car in miles per hour. Now for this, what I always tend to do is we can see that the speed of the car is 140. So it's 140 kilometers per hour. Now what I like to do is to write this as a fraction where you've got the distance at the top over the time at the bottom. Now I don't want to change the time units because I want the hour, so that's fine. So the only thing for me to do is to convert 140 kilometers into miles. Now to do that, what I need to do is I need to divide by 8 and multiply by 5. And if I do that either through multiplying by writing it down or working it out, or by using a calculator, I should have the answer of 87.5. And again, because I'm not changing the hour units, that's still going to be over 1. So then the final answer is 87.5. Moving on to question 6, it says that Sam leaves home at 9 a.m. He works out his journey to work takes 8,100 seconds. What time did he arrive at work? So for this, what we need to do is again look at some conversions. So we want to convert 8,100 seconds into minutes. So for this, what we need to do is we need to divide by 60. And again, if non-calculator, I can just go for cancelling the zeros. So then want to do 6 over 810. So 6 goes into 8 once, remainder 2. 6 goes into 21 3 times, remainder 3. And 6 goes into 30 5 times. So we get 135 minutes. Now 135 minutes is basically 2 hours and 15 minutes. So if he starts at 9 a.m, so it's 9 a.m. plus 2 hours and 15 minutes, you can then add those together and we get 11:15 a.m. Moving on to question 7, it says that Tom's car travels 40 miles per gallon. 1 litre of petrol costs £1.19. Happy days. And 1 gallon equals 4.5 litres. Work out the cost of petrol when Tom drives 200 miles. Now for this, there's a couple of things we need to do first. So let's have a look at the process, and it is worth 4 marks. So for this, he travels 200 miles. So let's first of all work out how many gallons we actually need. So if I do 200 divided by 40, I get an answer of 5. So I'm going to need 5 gallons of petrol. Then to convert, so let's just use different color. I know that 5 gallons equals, and then if I multiply that by 4.5, I get an answer of 22.5 litres. So that's how many litres of petrol I'm going to need. And then if I then finally just multiply 22.5 litres multiplied by the price, which is 119, this will definitely appear on a calculator paper. I get an answer of 26.775. Now for this, we need to round any money questions to 2 decimal places. So looking at this, the final answer is going to be £26.78.